Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Thank you so much for joining me once again this afternoon as we continue to dive into the Arsenal transfer market and the latest around the club. Now, despite the fact that Mikel Arteta has called Lucas Paqueta, talked to him and is trying to convince him to join Arsenal, the interest in Tielemans is 100% still there. And in this video, we're going to find out if Arsenal have made a bid for Tielemans and how much have we sent in and how close and likely are we to get that bid accepted. Moussa Diaby, something more around the transfer. Leno is inches away from joining Fulham. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Arsenal have been given an €8 million offer from Nottingham Forest. Lucas Torreira to Juventus. Interest has now been confirmed. We'll talk about Jack Wilshere's retirement, and also Nuno Tavares is very close to joining Olympique Marseille. Much of your transfer update in this one. It's really action-packed. So make sure you hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Just like you can see that call to action. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below on whether you feel Tielemans should come in at the same time as Lucas Paqueta. I love them both, and I would definitely want to sign them. Before we get into it, a couple of people have been asking me how to support the podcast. Now, that's a very good time because I'm looking for 10 people to support us with internet this month. So it's 10 people, $10 each, just 10 people. So you can use my mobile money numbers, or you can use my bank account number as well. Massively appreciated if we can do that. Now let's start off with Tielemans and the bid that is roaming around the internet that has been sent in. According to Conor Marbos, he's one of the accounts that I've trusted with the Tielemans story. I think apart from Ben Jacobs, there is no other person that has reported very consistently and very early when it comes to Tielemans, and everything he has reported about has come true. He was the first journalist to report that Arsenal were going to send in a bid for Tielemans, and a couple of other outlets as well picked up the story, from The Sun to The Mirror to The Daily Standard and The Telegraph. All of them picked up the story hours later after he had published it, and of course hours later after we had published it here on Cossy's Arsenal podcast. Now, he has said that on Thursday, just like he had reported, Arsenal met the representatives of Leicester City, and we submitted a bid for Tielemans. Now, according to him, the bid is in the region of 23 million, with 10 million pounds in extra performance-related add-ons. And he's been told that the clubs are not very far away from agreeing onto the package. Ever since we spoke about Tielemans, Arsenal preparing a bid, there's been a lot of talk around midfielders, including Serge Milinkovic-Savic and also Lucas Paqueta. But this is what I'm going to say, people. When I look at all the deals that Arsenal are trying to discuss, apart from Tielemans, there is no deal that is as easy and doable as the Tielemans deal. Look, Paqueta is available, but we do not know whether Lyon are willing to sell. That is in the first place. And even if they are willing, negotiating with Lyon and their Jean-Michel Aulas is going to take a whole summer. Actually, not a whole summer. 2 whole summers discussing one player. It happened with Alex and Lacazette. It took us 2 whole summers to get the guy. We did the same with Houssem Aouar. 2 whole summers, and now going in for another player, Lucas Paqueta, in July, when the season begins in August. We desperately need an attacking midfielder, a central attacking midfielder or a central midfielder. I think Paqueta is not that easy of a deal to do. When you think about Serge Milinkovic-Savic, just like Dimasio said, it's not a deal Arsenal are going to do easily. It's not a deal you will do easily. It's a deal that is really going to take some time. It's a deal that could not even happen because Arsenal are not willing to go as far as £65 million that Lazio are asking for. And Dimasio says, no one is even going to pay you that money for Serge Milinkovic-Savic. So when you look at all those deals, they're kind of deals to distract opponent opponents and opposition from the Tielemans deal. I don't think Arsenal are really working on the 30 million Savic to the extent that we are going to bid 65 million. I don't think we believe in the player that much. For Lucas Paqueta, I will do a video later this evening, but I think the interest is genuine, but the deal is not as doable as the Tielemans deal. So I believe Arsenal have sent in this bid. It might not be that, it might not be enough because in terms of guaranteed payments, it is still very, very low. So the structure of the deal might need to be negotiated upon by the two clubs. And just like, Conmabus has already said, it's a deal that's going to take some time in terms of finding an agreement. It's not a deal that Arsenal are going to come in and just bust around their bid and then Leicester City are interested. It's not going to be that. It's always going to be Arsenal tabling a bid and a structure, and then Leicester City suggesting another structure and things like that. But I think the good thing here is that these two clubs are very close in terms of the valuation of the player. Arsenal value the player at around 25, and Leicester value the player at around 33. And actually, according to Ben Jacobs a week ago, he said the problem in this one is that Arsenal think they should be paying 5 million less than what Leicester City are asking for. Leicester asking for around 35, and Ben Jacobs said the highest will be 33, the lowest will be 25. So, and Arsenal are in that bracket. So when you think about everything in that corner, I don't think Arsenal and Leicester are very, very far away. Why the deal is taking a lot of time? I think it is Arsenal trying to find a compromise and Leicester City trying to find a compromise from Arsenal. But for me, in my opinion, I think it's going to come from Leicester. It will come from Leicester, not because they want to sell, not because they're the weak party in bargaining. We all know they're not weak. Ask Chelsea. 50 million for Ben Chilwell, 80 million for Harry Maguire to Man United. They're not a weak side when it comes to discussing deals on the table. So Arsenal fans, do not be there and say, Cossy, we will get him. After all, Leicester City are not good at negotiating. They're absolutely deadly. They are very, very deadly when it comes to negotiating deals. So this one, I think in the next hours, we will see a lot of talk around Tielemans and the mainstream media coming up with the story that a bid has been sent in. We said it will happen deep in July. I think it is already deep in July. We are on the 9th day, and in the next 5 days we'll be halfway the month. So honestly, I think it is time to work this Tielemans deal, and I think it will get done. Honestly, we just need to give it a little time. So Conmabo says a bid has been sent in. The structure not favorable to Leicester City because guaranteed payments will only be 23 million. And of course, 23 million which will not be paid up front. I think Leicester will ask for more money up front and more money in guaranteed payments. And then we can seal the deal. Now, moving away from that, I also want to speak about Moussa Diaby a little bit. We spoke about Moussa Diaby in the morning. Now, it looks like Moussa Diaby will cost Arsenal less than £50 million. Newcastle believe they've been working on this deal at a very, very great pace and a very, very great magnitude. And they believe they can get the player below £50 million. Now, the first price that was recorded by Bill.com when they said that Arsenal were interested in the player was around 75 million euros. That is around 65 million pounds. That is quite a lot for the youngster. Yes, he's already been, he's impressed a lot and has been called up for the French national duty. But I think not yet there to cost 65 million pounds and in excess of that. So Arsenal now believe they can pay less than 50 million pounds for Moussa Diaby. My opinion, it would be a very good deal. It would be a very, very good deal. Less than 50 million pounds for a 22-year-old who averaged 20 goal involvements last campaign in the German Bundesliga. Not really that bad. So Newcastle are rivaling Arsenal. Oh, no. Arsenal are rivaling Newcastle because Newcastle have done much of the groundwork in terms of negotiating with the player, attracting him to the Premier League, and also talking to Leverkusen to force them into, or convince them, cajole them into selling. So much of the work has been done by Newcastle, but can Arsenal hijack the deal? Now, in terms of the other stories that I want to talk about, Leno is very, very close to a move away from Arsenal Football Club, with most sources now believing that Leno did not play in our first game for issues of Arsenal trying to avoid any injuries. Fulham will be the club taking him. He has a full verbal agreement with them until 2025, plus another year to extend with them. Good deal, in my opinion. Arsenal asking for around 11 million euros. Looks like Fulham will be willing to pay that much. Good negotiations, Arsenal. I'll give you a tick there. So Leno is very, very close. We knew this right from the beginning. He was never gonna stay. We talked about it. We cried about it, but he was never gonna stay, was he? He was never really gonna stay. My WhatsApp link. My WhatsApp group link is in the description and also in the comment section. And also check the community. You'll find the WhatsApp group so you can be able to join it. But Leno is inches away from Fulham. Ainsley Maitland announced Arsenal could get 8 million euros in the in the sale of the player. I think actually Outgoings could be one of the reasons why the Tielemans deal is laying. So 11 million euros in Leno plus 8 million euros in Ainsley Maitland. That is close to 20 million euros. So we would need an extra 10 million euros to get the deal done. And that extra 10 million euros could come in the sale of Lucas Torreira. So at the moment, Lucas Torreira is there is interest from Juventus. Juve want him. Arsenal asking for around 11 million euros. I think Juve can pay that. The problem with Juve, though, is they will pay 11 million euros across 10 years. So they'll give you 1 million per year. Ask Sassuolo. I'm not lying. Ask Sassuolo. Ask anyone. They'll tell you. So, but they're interested in Lucas Torreira. The player wants to stay in Italy. And going from Fiorentina to Juve, that's kind of a jump. I think that's kind of an upgrade in his career. The problem is that I don't think he will be getting the kind of game time he wants at Juve, or the game time he's been getting at Fiorentina. So if he's gonna go there, then he needs to be quite skeptical, one, but also ready to sit on the bench. Yeah, he must be ready to sit on the bench. Now, the last story is around Tavares. I wanted to discuss Jakusha as well, but we'll discuss Jakusha in the next episode because his retirement for me means a lot because he's going to become part of the management at Arsenal, especially in the lower levels. But Nuno Tavares could also be close to joining Olympique Marseille on loan. Marseille have been pushing to sign the Portuguese lad, and looks like they will be getting a breakthrough. They will sign him on loan. Arsenal would love to include an obligation to buy, but Marseille would love to include an obligation to buy, but the price that Arsenal are thinking is around 40 million euros. Atlanta wanted him, Real Sociedad wanted him, but anyone that wants to buy Nuno Tavares, according to Arsenal, must be able to part with 40 million euros. Is it quite a lot? I'm not sure, but you never know. Make sure you support me and the podcast. We are looking for $100 on internet. 10 people can do that. Only 10 people to support us with $10. But any small thing you have will be massively, massively appreciated.